Hello guys, imagine yourself there are no social rules. Imagine yourself there are no limitations. Imagine yourself when you get born, people tell you be completely yourself, don't hold back at all. What we want from you is complete expression of yourself. Imagine that. Imagine a world that is completely different than the world we live in at the moment. And imagine that this is possible. What would you become? Would you be so quiet? Would you be so controlled? Would you be so pleasing to others? How would you behave actually? Hello, I'm Michael, and I'm opening some questions for you and me in order to allow you to think about what needs to be done in order to go through your transformation that you're walking through. And today we are thinking about what would we become if there would be no limitations and no social norms. As society, we agreed to respect some social norms because we wanted society to be arranged, to feel safe, and to be productive in the end. If we are all just destroying everything or abusing each other and things like that, we won't move anywhere, and we will stand still, and the society will not progress. Unfortunately, in the last couple of centuries, it's questionable if we are really progressing or not. Yes, there is more food in the world, there is more everyday things that you need, but the question is, are we really free? Are we really what we are? Can we express ourselves? Do we live in our power or not? This is the question. And this question only arises in limited amount of people who look for their transformation, who are looking for them real selves. People like you and me, who decided to be scared, but at the same time conquer fear where we want to conquer fear and explore who we really are. And to explore who we really are, sometimes we will need to limit our social norms. This doesn't mean limiting the most basic ones and basic rules of society, of course not. I'm more talking about the social norms we impose on ourselves by ourselves, that we accept ourselves, that we are not aware that these social norms are dimming our power, taking away our power. We are giving our power away, and not in the way of fighting who will dominate the world, but in the way of society losing an important part that you represent, when you could actually bring all of you, what you are, to the light, and from that, what you are, create things that are unique to you, and you could benefit the society a lot. And society would like to get what you are, and not only get experience, and society then gives you back the rewards for being what you are. And as we travel, ups and downs happen. Sometimes we are in power, sometimes we are not. Sometimes you are afraid, sometimes you are not. But important it is to move forward. And with expressing what we are, have you ever imagined what you really are if you completely express yourself? For me, it is quite difficult, this path, because actually living so many decades as somebody else, as an adjusted version, it is a slow process to get to know ourselves. It is a slow process, at least for me, where I go step by step, and each time I allow myself a bit more, or I allow a thought that is inappropriate, or something arrives into my life, and then I ask myself, why did it arrive? Why this is attractive to me? Why this bothers me? Why this is interesting to me? And then I try to understand, what does it bring up inside of me? Does it bring up inside of me something that is coherent or incoherent? Does it wake up my intuition, or am I in my head? And completely expressing yourself is the biggest freedom we could have. We know that we need to live inside the society's matrix somehow, but we can adjust that matrix, not accept the one that we were given from birth, or the one we are currently running. As I've been talking in many videos about spider webs, spider webs are a symbol, in my terms, for a certain level of awareness that you are currently on. So I'm currently walking one spider web, and I'm trying all the possibilities and combinations on this spider web, how I should walk it in order to come to its center, where there is a lift to the next level. To me, why spider web? Because we all running in circles until we find the solution, and because there are so many combinations between all the threads of the spider web, and they could be infinite actually in size. But sooner or later, if we are searching and we are really going through our transformation and thinking about our patterns and changing them, we will arrive to the center, and we will be lifted to the next level, where we explore more to go to another level. And current spider web that I'm on, and I think that it was also part of the previous ones, was self-expression, was actually exploration of myself, was exploration of who I am. And I've been doing that for some years now. And more things are coming out. At the beginning, it was some pretty normal things that came out. And now more and more, could say juicy, or things that are deeply unconscious, or the kind of aspects that, yeah, somehow are not widely accepted in society. For example, expressing myself in front of you and talking about this might not be widely accepted, because it could be many things, what people think about it. But I find it that this is my path. And as I express myself, maybe you relate to that. And by you relating to that, I can allow and support your transformation as well. And self-expression requires courage, because it's not the courage how we look in front of other people with some opinions or something like that, but it's more of a courage of acknowledging in myself, that's really part of me, or that's how I am, or that's how I really am. And sometimes you can be embarrassed, sometimes you can be proud, sometimes you can be happy, and sometimes, you could be unhappy for finding out something about you that it's like this. And sometimes we also need to accept things we would not like to be ourselves, but we are. And the sooner or later we accept it and acknowledge it and integrate it, the easier our path will be. It's the most difficult when it's in your shadow, or it's not controlled and it breaks out when you least need it. then it's a problem. It's not a problem if you're aware of it and handle it somehow. So think about what kind of monster you would be if you would be able to express yourself. What kind of monster? Would you be a dragon? Would you be, I don't know, a dinosaur? Would you be some imaginary monster? Would you be some cartoon character? What would you be? Can you imagine a character that you've seen in your life and try to think what are their patterns, how do they behave, how do they treat life, how do they decide what they want, how do they decide their next step. We've watched many movies, we've watched many even superheroes, we've watched many things, and some stay with us and some bring out our wishes, how we would like to live or express ourselves. It can be a combination, but for sure it would be great for you to define what is that. And then you can use AI to generate this kind of photo for you. And you can put this photo on your wall. And as you explore yourself and as you find out who you really are, you can change that photo as you go along your path. And you can define what are the characteristics of this person, what are the values, what are the everything, you know. It can be an animal, it can be a person, it can be whichever, robot maybe. I don't know. I know what is my expression of that at the moment and what would be probably the next step. And as we think about it and as we explore this, you can share if you wish. At the moment, I'm the red dragon. And what are you? Share with me. Put it in comments. Send me an email. We can discuss about it. I can support you on that. I can provide you more questions to explore more about this creature, monster, or whatever you think you can describe yourself with. And embrace it. Be this. You'll find a way how to combine social norms with who you really are. You will find your unique way, your unique ability, your unique combination. Everything is possible. You just have to believe it's possible. And I encourage you, find this out. It's an important step toward your giant leap forward that we are walking towards. So, wish you a great morning, and we are in touch.